Hi, Mark Donovan here from Falcon Imagery, and I'm a CFII, and I'm here to talk to you today about a resource available to all pilots that is often underutilized. And that resource is flight following. Flight following radar services, as the name suggests, is the ability to have air traffic control be another set of eyes in your cockpit effectively, watching out for you and making sure that you're safe as you fly through the National Airspace System. Besides providing traffic alerts, they can provide weather information. They can also provide guidance, vectoring information for you, and can also be available to assist you in any emergencies that may come up. So there's a lot of useful benefits for flight following. It's a free service. All it requires is some basic skills on how to communicate with ATC and how to request the flight service. And after that, it's pretty much hands off and just taking advantage of those benefits that I just highlighted. So what I want to talk to you a little bit more about is how to actually get flight following. It's easy to pick up flight following. It only requires very little bit of communication with ATC, and we'll discuss those steps. So the first thing you want to do if you want to pick up flight following is to take a look at, let's say, the airport that you may be departing out of, and look for the departure frequency or an approach frequency or a center frequency associated or near that airport. You're going to want to dial that frequency in on one of your radios, and you'll tune to that frequency, dial it in, and listen to the traffic that may be going on. When you hear a break in the communications on that channel, you want to communicate into the blind by basically reporting your aircraft type and your tail number, stating that you have a request. They'll come back to you and say, go ahead, aircraft 816 Whiskey Romeo, what is your request? And you're going to respond back that you, for example, just departed an airport en route to another airport, currently passing through a certain altitude to a cruise altitude, and you're looking to pick up flight following. They'll tell you normally to hold on for a moment, and they'll come back to you and give you a squawk code. You'll type that squawk code into your transponder, and they may also ask you to hit the identify button or ident, so they can actually see you show up as a kind of a brighter blip on their radar screen. Once they have seen you show up on the radar screen, they'll confirm that they have radar contact with you, and often will give you an altimeter reading from an airport local to the vicinity that you're flying over. You'll respond back that with that altimeter altitude that they gave you, followed by your tail number. And then that's pretty much it. As you continue to fly through the airspace, maybe you're going on a cross-country flight, they may ask you at some point to switch to a new frequency as you're leaving their airspace that they cover, and you simply switch to that new frequency, and you'll say something simply to the effect, as you go to the new frequency, such as Boston Center, 816 Whiskey Romeo with you at 5,500 feet. And that Boston Center would just come back and say, roger that, 816 Whiskey Romeo, altimeter in Worcester is 30.12 inches. And you respond back with the altimeter reading and with your tail number, and that's it. And you'll continue to repeat this process as you make your way on your cross-country flight. As you near your destination airport, ATC may come right on over the radio and say, hey, look, there's no traffic between you and the airport. We're going to terminate radar services. Go ahead and squawk VFR, frequency change approved. And you're going to come back and say frequency change approved, squawk VFR, 816 Whiskey Romeo. And at that point, you'll switch to the local CTAF frequency of the airport that you're coming into, or the tower frequency, etc. In other cases, you may see that you've already got the airport in sight, and you can actually contact ATC and let them know that you do have the airport in sight. And that will trigger them to say, okay, you've got the airport in sight, frequency change approved, squawk VFR, and again, you squawk VFR, you report that you're going to do the frequency change, and then you switch frequencies, squawk back to VFR 1200, and again, you get back on to the local CTAF, that airport or tower, and continue on your way. And that's basically it for using flight following. It's an extremely easy service to use, it's free, and there's no reason why you wouldn't want to take advantage of that service. if it's available to you. In very busy areas, crowded airspaces, ATC may not have the bandwidth to support you in flight following, but my experience is in most places I've flown up and around the East Coast and out through the middle of the United States, I've had no problem asking for flight following and get it picked up by ATC. So there's really no reason not to make an attempt, and most of the time you'll get the service. So in the next few segments, I show you some actual footage in my aircraft with me picking up flight following and my interactions with ATC during that flight following, and how I wind up terminating flight following once I get near the destination airport. So hopefully you find this actual live information helpful. I will say that it's a little bit noisy because I'm flying in my Super Cub, but you can clearly hear the conversation between myself and ATC as I proceed to pick up flight following and utilize the resource as I continue on to my destination airport.
Boston approach, Super Cub 816 Whiskey Romeo.
Super Cub 816 Whiskey Romeo, Boston approach.
Yeah, it's just departed Port Island, currently passing through 1,200 to 2,500, headed north to Hampton Airfield, request flight following.
Runway 6 Whiskey Romeo, squawk 5153 and ident.
5153 Whiskey Romeo.
Whiskey Romeo, radar contact 3 miles northeast of the Palm Island Airport, Boston altimeter 298.5 to altitude.
285, currently 2,100, going for 2,500.
Roger.
Boston approach, Super Cub 816 Whiskey Romeo, it does have Hampton Field in sight.
6 Whiskey Romeo, radar service terminates, squawk V5, frequency change approved.
Roger that, frequency rating range approved, VFR 6 Whiskey Romeo. Boston approach, Super Cub 816 Whiskey Romeo.
Number 816 Whiskey Romeo, Boston approach.
Oh yeah, just departed Hampton Airfield en route to Laconia Airport, currently passing through 2,500 to 3,000, request flight following.
Number 6 Whiskey Romeo, squawk 5157.
5157, 611 Whiskey Romeo.
Number 6 Whiskey Romeo, radar contact 4 miles southwest of Portsmouth, verify type aircraft.
Super Cub 816 Whiskey Romeo.
Number 816 Whiskey Romeo, connect approach 134.75.
134.75, 816 Whiskey Romeo. Boston approach, Super Cub 816 Whiskey Romeo with you at 3,000 feet.
816 Whiskey Romeo, Boston approach, roger. Number 6 Whiskey Romeo, contact Boston approach 134.75. Have a good day.
134.75, good day. Boston approach, Super Cub 816 Whiskey Romeo.
Who's that?
Super Cub 816 Whiskey Romeo.
816 Whiskey Romeo, Boston, thanks. I may lose you radio coverage here. Are you inbound to Laconia now?
I actually decided to go to 4 Mike Bravo, and if you want we can squawk VFR at this point.
6 Whiskey Romeo, roger. Before you go, you have traffic here 12 to 1 o'clock. 6 miles, northeastbound 2,800 indicated taps unknown. Your radar service instrument, squawk to maintain VFR. Frequency change approved.
We'll keep an eye out for that traffic, squawk VFR approved. Good day, 816 Whiskey Romeo.
Anyways, hope this video helps, and if it did, make sure to consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the like button on this video, and consider hitting the bell so you get notified on my next video.